Welcome to the Snide Show. Welcome to the Snide Show. Welcome to the Snide Show.
Movies, clicks, boobies, dicks, reviews, sips, theories, rips, big news, tips, doobies, shits. Welcome to the Snide Show.
Hello, and welcome, one and all, to the Snide Show, or should I say the Snide Stream team. Tonight, we're welcoming back the one and only Shaun Corley, a fellow curator in the world of consumption, prolific writer out there about comic books and TV, niche programming. I love it, and I'm so happy to have you back, dude.
Well, thanks. I'm so good to be back, man.
Yeah. Awesome. And you can find him at Corley on the Shore out there on the interwebs, dishing out the reviews, the theories, everything you could want to know about, a unique perspective on things like Star Trek, Marvel Comics and shit. Again, it's good shit. And tonight I'm bringing to the table a hefty double dose of topical punch. But before we get into that, slice of life, what's new in your world, Shaun?
Well, I've mostly just been plugging along at Screen Rant, where I'm a senior writer there. I actually have just had a list published, and I actually shared this to my Instagram. I don't know if you saw it. It was about the top 10 Steve Ditko DC characters.
Hell yeah.
Like, everybody thinks Steve Ditko is a Marvel visionary, and he is. I mean, he co-created Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. I mean, that alone would cement him as a comic book legend. But he went to DC and did great stuff there, too, and this list kind of touched on that. I was really proud with the way it turned out. It's done pretty good on the site. I was really happy with that, how it turned out.
Yeah, definitely check that out, folks, because, he's even in the Marvel world almost like, he's always mentioned like fourth or fifth, but, his influence on Spider-Man is legendary. And, I don't know the specifics, but there was like a falling out, right, like between him and Stan.
Yeah, I think it had something to do, and don't quote me on this, but with the direction that Stan wanted to take Spider-Man in. And I don't think it gelled with what Ditko wanted. And it's really interesting because after Ditko left, and I don't remember when this was, what issue it was, but he did leave. And I believe the artist that came on after him was John Romita Sr. Mm-hmm. And the change between Peter Parker's Spider-Man under Steve Ditko and when Peter Parker's Spider-Man under John Romita were like, I wouldn't say they were two different people, but John Romita evolved Peter Parker because under Steve Ditko, Peter Parker was like the stereotypical dweeb, had the glasses, was constantly getting picked on, things like that. And when Romita took over, he kind of, I don't want to say, he made Peter Parker into like a kind of a heartthrob a little bit. Like, Peter lost the glasses. He kind of lost the mousiness. He met Mary Jane. He met Gwen Stacy.
Got snarkier.
Yeah, he got even snarkier, things like that. Yeah. So, Steve left over a falling out with Stan, and you're right, and I think that may have been part of it, was the direction Stan wanted to go in. Well, what he was doing was, after he left Marvel in the mid-'60s, he went to DC, and he created the Creeper, Hawk and Dove, I think Shade the Changing Man. He created an incarnation of Starman. But then he also went to work at Charlton Comics after he left Marvel. And I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
They got absorbed later, right?
Yeah, they created in the mid-'60s a line of superheroes that was like Ted Cord, the Blue Beetle, The Question, Nightshade, Captain Atom. And they didn't last very long. They're superheroes. And then in the early 80s, those superheroes were bought, the rights to those superheroes were bought by DC. And then they just incorporated the characters into the DC universe. And then those characters, a lot of those characters from Charlton, formed the basis for Watchmen also. And I'm sure you probably were aware of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like little bits of that, just in passing. I've read, you see a character and you're like, well, what's their background? You look it up and you're like, oh, that was originally a different company and they got absorbed by one of the bigger guys and they did some cool stuff with them here, hopefully. And that's really interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that Ditko created Hawk and Dove. That's cool. That's cool. Wow. That's really cool stuff. And we'll get into more comic book lore later on in the show. We're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, and I'm going to pick Shaun's brain about some thoughts. And hopefully by then, AC will have joined us. This episode is brought to you in part by Savvy Sisterly Sales. Discover handmade gifts, art, and decor crafted with love by Savvy Sisterly Sales. From thoughtful keepsakes to charming handmade pieces, Savvy Sisterly Sales offers unique creations made to brighten homes, celebrate special moments, and support meaningful local shopping. Scan the QR code to browse their latest items, follow along on this journey, and find something special for you and yours along the way. Tropical punch, the meat, potatoes, and vegetables. We're going to do a deep dive on KOSA, the Kids Online Safety Act, so-called. Some of this is a little dry, but I'm going to try to make it entertaining. And it's honestly, it's just another thing that people aren't talking enough about, at least where I'm looking, the circles I'm looking, because it's another. It's aiming to shield the younglings from the dark side of the digital realm. It was introduced by Senators Richard Blumenthal and Marsha Blackburn, and it's targeting the usual cyber psyop suspects: anxiety, depression, the whole emotional cocktail, addiction-like behavior, in the internet's seedier alleyways, bullying, exploitation, and shady marketing. It mandates a buffet of safeguards for kids, including restrictions on access to personal data and parental controls over privacy settings. So a seeming attempt at helping internet security. It also takes a swing at ads for age-restricted goods and demands annual harm reports from online platforms. KOSA says it's cracking down on the compulsive usage that is in earlier seen behavior, like the whole iPad kid situation, right?
Yeah, I've seen kids with iPads. They can do things with iPads at 3 years old. I'm just like, what?
It's wild. It's like it was made for them.
Yeah, really.
So it establishes a safety council, and as we'll get into later on, the FTC is put into a big part of this. The next time a kid's glued to their tablet, the parents can just, say, well, it's the government says it's past your bedtime, man. And it's, they're saying it's up to the platforms to act in the best interest of minors. It's another example of like kind of, and I'm not an anti-regulation guy, but
no, me neither.
SB 1515 opens up a Pandora's box of privacy concerns, from freedom of speech debates. Like imagine like, well, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but imagine like handing over your ID to a stranger in a mask, and that's the kind of trust we're navigating here. Critics are up in arms about potential voyages into unsafe cyber territories and privacy invasions, fearing that what starts as a minor check could end up as a major headache. The intent is noble. The execution, that's where the plot thickens. Or rather, it tangles into a big ball of yarn even a cat couldn't untangle.
Uh-huh.
The bill's language is super broad. And when you're swinging at issues like this, you're bound to hit a lot of casualties.
Yeah.
They're performing surgery with a chainsaw here. So you said you've been looking into it a little bit. Like, well, what do you think of it?
Yeah. Well, I agree. It's like the intentions are good. It's just the execution is horrible. And anytime I see like a bill or like any kind of act that like keep children safe, save the children, I almost feel like that's a bit of a dog whistle for anti-LGBTQIA material.
Yeah, we'll get into more of that in a little bit, but yeah, please go on.
Because I noticed that you mentioned that one of the people that introduced the bill was Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee, notorious anti-LGBTQIA.
Wow.
And as I was looking into information about this earlier, and again, it was on the Wikipedia. Marsha has allegedly said that this bill would do just that. It would keep out like transgender content, gender affirming type stuff. Mm-hmm. Even though her office later said, no, she doesn't mean that, but
who are you going to trust?
What's that?
Who are you going to trust? Like what she said, or what a bunch of people are like, oh no, this is what she meant.
Yeah, I'm going to trust what she said. She said the loud part quiet and the quiet part loud.
Yeah. So these, in getting into more of the fundamental issues with all of this, is that the platforms could be slapped with liability suits for content that harms kids, even if they thought the user was an adult. Verify everyone's age. But it doesn't say how. It doesn't say how they want it. And of course, people like myself, and again, calling back to the episode I did with Meredith Kerr, where we discussed the porn block that's going on in the state of Virginia, where these sites, these adult sites, or sites that are deemed adult sites, have to verify the users are of age. And the way they're doing that is they have these third-party servers that have been contracted essentially by the government to get people's IDs. Like, you have to scan your ID and give it to, again, like basically a stranger. and it's just on a server somewhere attached to your IP address and your user accounts, so that, like...
my God. You can tell they didn't think this out, because none of the... Like, these issues become apparent to just, if you think about it just for a minute or two.
Just for a minute. So imagine a hacker whose whole life is thinking about shit like that.
I know. It would be, oh my God.
Immediately they hear that and they're like, blackmail.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so people like myself who saw that happening, and I've tried to talk about it on the show just because not enough people are talking about it. I mean, the mainstream news isn't talking about it, and I guess for obvious reasons, none of the reporters.
Like, I was vaguely aware of it, and and I knew, and like I had heard some of the criticisms, but when you mentioned this is what we were going to be talking about, I started doing like looking into it more. And children, like protecting children from harmful content is nothing new. Are you familiar with the Comics Code Authority by chance?
Yes. Again, you're getting to the punchline first, and I love it. Absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, this keeps happening. V-chips and
oh my God, V-chips! I hadn't thought of those in a long time. Wow, core memory unlocked there.
yeah. And you're just like, why is this show TVMA that shows maybe an animated breast? But this show that shows like gore, people getting cut up is like TV-14, and it's like, what's fundamental?
Probably no more consistent than the movie ratings are.
Yeah. No.
Have you ever seen a documentary called "This Film Is Not Yet Rated"?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that really kind of punched a hole in the MPAA for me, man.
Very enlightening. Very enlightening movie. It's so weird. It's so secret society. It's more secret society than like the Bilderbergs. Like they shut down streets and streets and streets, like away from the building to do this, to rate the movies. It's so weird.
They got the secret handshake.
And it's and it's Orwellian. And this is getting even more Orwellian. This big brother on the computer, like like prove to me you're not a toddler. Are you over 13? And it's just like we see how that works with like robots and stuff. Bots, get past that shit.
Oh,
like captcha codes and everything like that, especially now, like with AI and stuff. But so the thing is, like, there's the censorship aspect of it, the privacy security aspect of it, and then the market concern as well. So again, they've left it to dispel or quell people like myself, who are jumped to like, being very concerned about these authoritarian things. They're like, no. There's nothing in the bill about ID verification. But part of the issue with it is it tells you these platforms and these companies are going to be liable if anything happens, but it doesn't say how they should deal with it. And so it's going to be up to them. So instead of there being like one or two contracted companies to take in IDs, you're going to have a whole market of different companies trying to figure out the age verification. And here in a little bit, we're going to get to specifically some of what has been proposed, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But bringing that market into being, that basically any company that's going to operate online and appeals to adults at all is going to have to deal with this liability. And who's going to be the first to go? Walmart, Amazon, or the little dildo shop that's operating, through eBay or whatever?
They'll be the ones that'll get screwed over the worst.
Yeah. So again,
it's always how it goes. Always.
And again, that's an issue I haven't seen anyone else report on, but just by doing this research, I was like, wait, there's a huge market concern here, because if they open up an industry of age verification, it's going to be like Squarespace is going to be like, okay, if you want the age verification plan, you're going to have to upgrade.
Yeah, that's just it. And maybe the bill is ostensibly there to protect children, but it maybe like on the side, it's there just to create this brand new industry for the tech bros and stuff to come into. Exactly. One of the many tentacles that are coming out of this issue, this non-issue with a non-solution. I had not considered the market concerns about when I was doing my research earlier today on it. I didn't even think about that until you brought it up, that it would be the small businesses that would suffer the most under this.
They aren't going to be able to.
And when they talk about sites having to appeal to adults in any way, what about sites like where I work for, Screen Rant, or Comic book resources, Bleeding Cool, any of the major comic book.
Yeah. I am a niche grassroots media company that is just now getting a foothold that is ostensibly to appeal to the adult audience that is neglected. And so, again, that was something, as I was talking to my lady earlier, like while I was talking to market concerns, I'm like, well, I'm doing like an adult comedy company. Like,
yeah.
Wait a second. I mean, it's putting a target on me, bro.
They kind of did.
All right. I just got word from AC, so I'm going to bring him into the call here. AC, meet Shaun. Shaun, meet AC. Let me see.
Pleasure to meet you.
This infinity here.
The infinity. By the way, nice to meet you.
Same. The Infinite Podcast. We got all these little screens going.
Yeah, man. It's all right. So we'll do this. Is there a way to pin people? See, in Zoom, I've been learning Zoom. There's a way to pin people. So pin you guys and hide me. Talk, AC.
Talk about what?
I don't know. See, I can only pin one person at a time, apparently. How do I get into a grid view, but also hide me? Goodness, I can't believe this is happening live. I'm so embarrassed.
Live and uncensored.
All right, now talk, AC.
All right, go on.
Okay. All right, I think it's working now. You're doing. We got speaker view. There we go. That should do it right there. That should do it. All right. So we were just in the meat and potatoes of KOSA, talking about. We've gotten into a little bit of how it works, but we'll get more into the nitty gritty of how it works in a little bit. And we've gotten into like, you know, how futile some of these measures are and could be. I've compared it to the porn block that's going on in a number of states right now, where you have to ID verify to gain access to adult sites, and then that license is put onto a computer somewhere that tags it to your IP address and your user accounts and who knows what other data. So that's freaky, but no one's talking about it because no one wants to admit that they watch porn. And that happened back in like July or whatever. I talked about with Meredith last week, and KOSA is almost the darker sequel to it because it's happening to any kind of adult content, and it's happening nationwide. And then we started to get into a little bit of Shaun brought up the LGBTQ aspect. One of the big proponents is a big homophobe and has specifically said part of this is to get that kind of content away from kids at all, even though we can still have Disney movies where, you know, princesses kiss princes and stuff. You know, so it's you know, they're banning water because someone might drown, some might say.
That's a good way to put it.
But I'm really interested, AC, in your experience, because on the other end of the spectrum, you're someone who's got kids and you've had to deal with your kids, even with all of your attempts at child locks and limiting screen time and stuff. They still get a hold of adult content. Do you think KOSA is something that could help that?
Maybe to a certain extent, but I don't think that elementary school age is seriously their in-game goal. I don't think that they're trying to block off, you know, like 5-year-olds from getting on TikTok, and which, by the way, they will still do it regardless, because YouTube puts everything from TikTok directly into YouTube, and then they lump it all together. So there are kids' content, but it gets mixed in with adult content.
Yeah, no matter what.
But the thing So at one point there was this whole thing where there was a kids YouTube that only had kids stuff and it was restricted and this and that. Well, then out of that was birthed something called Momo. And Momo was put into YouTube from somebody who worked for YouTube. And if you're not familiar with Momo, I don't necessarily recommend you look it up, but go look it up.
I'm looking it up. Ah! Oh my God.
What was it called
Beautiful.
again?
Oh my God.
Momo.
That's freaky, dog. That's freaky.
Mm.
Oh, is it showing?
Oh my God! Yeah, I know this now. Mhm.
Nightmare fuel.
Nightmare fuel, indeed. I will not be sleeping tonight.
Sorry about that, everyone.
So somebody embedded all that into children's YouTube. And it was talking to kids and telling them to kill their parents and kill themselves and do all that stuff. So kids' YouTube got taken away, and now you're just stuck with YouTube. And on a lot of the TVs, like Roku TVs and stuff like that, you can't limit it. You can't put locks and blocks and all that stuff on it. It won't let you.
Oh, really?
Yep. And in order to have a kid's YouTube, like that somewhat has restrictions on it, you have to have an adult one connected to it, and you can't put a pin on it. So the kids can go to whatever other thing you have on there, and it has to be like mine says Adam, and then it says kids. Well, there's no way to stop them from going to the one that says Adam, which has all the adult content on it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's pointless. So while I understand what they're doing with it, I don't really know like what the point of implementing it is, because there's always going to be a workaround, always.
Yeah, because even if you verify your shit on your thing, like it's now verified. They can just get into it anyway. Like you're now verified. Like, so,
Yep.
Yep.
Like it's not going to stop that kind of stuff at all. So.
But again, I don't even know if that's what it's designed to do, to be honest with you.
That's what they're trying to say, and they're trying to say that like you've brought up such a specific thing that I really don't see how it could help with that, because no matter what, if you wind up age verifying a device in the household and it's just open to everyone in the house, they're going to get a hold of that. So unless you're one of those like super strict parents that's like, I'm going to keep all the devices under lock and key, they're not allowed to watch TV, they don't have TVs in their room, they don't. Like,
yeah. And I mean, you potentially you can do that, and yeah, sure, you're going to protect your kids from some things, but then you're going to breed a whole nother monster.
Right, and if you're doing that kind of thing in the first place, then this isn't helping. That's
Nope.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. So covered platforms must act in the interests of minors, taking measures to prevent and mitigate potential harms such as mental health disorders and addictive patterns of use. So like it's going to limit the amount of screen time unless you verify your ID. That's one of the things. And again, in the specific thing, and everyone who's a proponent of it has been specifically being like, oh, no, it doesn't say anything about verifying your ID, but there's really no other way to do it.
And Cory, when you were telling me about the ID part, identifying that they would have to like register their ID, I didn't see that in the bill. When I looked at it at Wikipedia, I had to kind of like things that, like I said, just think about it for a minute or two, and then you can just see all the holes that come out in this.
Yeah, because they don't specifically say that, but they say that any like Twitter, Meta, Amazon, Google, and then every other any entity essentially on the internet will be liable if a minor goes to their page and someone finds out about it. Like they could be sued, or if they buy an adult product, or if they and again it's so loose. Adult could be a wallet, like it's
yeah.
It's so, and they don't say how to make them liable. It's up to them to figure it out. So I have some things here that have been proposed as alternatives to the ID verification. One might be an AI-based system that analyzes user behavior in a non-intrusive manner to infer age ranges of users without collecting personal information. This would... I can't even go on because that's just proprietary. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Vision is going to, the Marvel Avenger Vision is going to like detect the user, whether they're an adult or a child. Like,
I'd rather it be Vision than Ultron.
yeah, it sounded more Ultron. KOSA, yeah, KOSA is Ultron. Oh my God, I wanna see that cartoon now. I mean,
well, now it's probably good somewhere.
Yeah, right. So in this one, I don't really get either. Platforms might focus on enhancing digital literacy and parental control features as a response. So like what you're talking about, Adam, is like Roku and Google would have to figure out a way for it to make sure that what the situation you were talking about doesn't happen. So like a PIN code every time someone uses the Roku. Like every time you pick up the Roku remote, you got to put in a PIN.
Yeah, and I can promise you more people are going to be mad and irritated about having to do that than they're going to want to put in to monitoring what their kids are doing anyway.
Yeah.
But, as a parent, a good way to alleviate some of that is to monitor the time, not necessarily every last thing they're doing, but how much time they have with a screen. And then the other thing, how many kids under the age of 16 need to have social media accounts and need to have cell phones unless it's for emergencies?
Oh, because they're dope ass influencers and dancers and shit.
But I mean, even adults,
so the screen time thing is a thing that I think is discussed in the bill, or at least has been discussed around the bill, that the screen time thing is going to just be implemented, like to not have too much screen time. Things are just going to basically get locked up. Like they're going to be, because part of the thing is they're trying to limit like children's use of the screen and the internet and stuff. So there will probably be like some sort of time lock feature on things. Again, I don't know how this could be fucking implemented in a way that's like you said, that people are going to be cool with and not just pissed off about.
There's no way that they can, because I can tell you right now, even me, as much as I binge watch stuff, there's no way that they're going to differentiate between whether the kid's watching it or whether the adults are watching it, and to what degree. And again, even if they were to put the whole, well, you got to have an ID. You know how many parents leave their wallet stuff unattended, like even overnight, and how easy it is for a kid to go get that ID, go log into whatever they wanted to, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And
there will always
you're
be
telling me
around.
who is going to be responsible for the kid logging in with the no, you can't do that. That in and of itself, it would be fraud. It is also illegal. Am I right?
Yeah. So getting into the data shit, because that's part and parcel with all of this, is again a big ball of fucking, I don't know, like an impossible knot. What's that impossible knot from mythology? Anyway, it was a really difficult knot, and it was really important. But I think Hercules,
you talking about the swung his sword and he cut.
Was that Hercules?
It was Alexander the Great.
Oh, Alexander. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
A little rusty on my mythology.
Anyway, so it's a bunch of different issues, and part of it is the data and security thing, which is that no matter what process you put in place, whether it's a bot or some sort of ID verification or the next thing, which is anonymized data. So basically, it would just automatically suck up your data like to figure out who the fuck you are, which is it's a thing that's already being done with like cookies and whatnot. But these would be like government contracted cookies essentially that would just like suck up whatever data. Like as soon as you log into a thing, it's got the IP address, it's got like who's in there, who's the guy got the Amazon account, who's got the Google account, put it all together. Who is this person? But it would be anonymized. It would be encrypted, so no one would know if they got the server. Which that's the thing, is all this data would go onto a server somewhere. It just has to. That's the way this shit fucking works. And then that server is sitting there with a bunch of precious data that hackers are already drooling over. And they could just fucking go and get that data, get a janitor's job over there, fucking put in a thumb drive, whatever the fuck they do, you know, and get that data and exploit people and sell it on Telegram or whatever, but not if it's anonymized, right? So companies might develop methods to use anonymized data to enforce safety measures without directly identifying or verifying the ages of the users. It'll do it, but just not directly. This could involve patterns of use that are indicative of minor specific behavior. Again, it gets into the AI thing of like, you know, but also, again, obviously the location, IP address, all that kind of stuff. Who's got an Amazon account? Who's got a Google account? You know, to figure out who's under the cup. You know, because, and I wondered about that. You see sometimes on like Facebook and Instagram, like, hey, you want to do end-to-end encryption? You want to be anonymous? You want this data to not be saved anywhere? And you're just like, well, then how could it be a message that someone's reading? Like if it's encrypted, what are you talking about? Like, I never understood.
And like they were talking about like patterns of behavior, usage online. What this really reminds me of also is like banks, when they like monitor your spending activity to like find fraud and stuff. That's what it reeks of, or at least that's what it sounds like to me.
That's right. I think you're right. That's exactly what it is. And trying to see like, oh, is this person a kid because they're going like SesameStreet.com? Or are they an adult because they're going to look at lawn chairs? I don't know, man. I don't know. That's all of these things aside, and these are the things that aren't ID verification. And so I don't see how any of that is going to be as effective. Unfortunately, the ID is really the only way to be sure, and that ID registered to a user that's registered to a device, right? But as Adam said, he'd still be logged in on the Roku in the living room where they can get a hold of it. They can just get a hold of it.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
Something very poorly thought out, that's why.
Very.
And it's basically like approved because it's very bipartisan for some reason, somehow, until the LGBT thing happened. But that was like quickly, like they were like, oh, we rewrote it and it's fine now. And then you go back and you look and you're like, I don't see what's different. I don't see.
I think part of the problem for me is this. It's like the pornography question. What constitutes pornography also? Like, how do you determine what sites are bad for kids? And I think we've kind of touched on this. Like, Amazon has all kinds of things. It has toys for kids, books for kids, but then it has adult products too. How do you handle something like that?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine unless like they have to write it into code now, some sort of way to tag that just the page itself, which is just, come on, there are trillions of pages out there, man.
Yeah, it's going to create a lot of work for some people. I know that if it goes through.
Well, you know, Republicans love creating jobs, don't they?
Yeah. The job creators.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Can you imagine what a Google search would be like then?
Yeah, like, is it going to be like on Norton, like every other thing is like, yo, this is suspicious. It's going to like kind of blur. It's going to blur things like
the safe search on Google and stuff.
But it's going to be mandatory unless you give them not your ID, because that's not what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck to whomever gets tasked with that.
Yeah, really.
This is like potentially like some speakeasy, like prohibition, like alcohol prohibition shit, right?
Well, we're in the 20s. Isn't that when prohibition passed back in the 20th century, back in the 1920s or something? Like the 20s are the decade for
You're
prohibition.
blowing my mind. You're blowing my mind right now. The cycles, dude. The cycles. Oh my God.
I know. It's what goes around comes around. It's like I was telling you earlier, like the comics code. Like that was another tool to protect children from bad content, to stem the flow of the rise of juvenile delinquency, and it really didn't. It was all hysteria.
Hey, don't say zombie. Zombie, that's an X-rated word right there, zombie.
And so were vampires and werewolves, too.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah, it's...
What a world.
Bonkers.
What a world. So spread the word, folks. Spread the word. You know, I don't know. This is another issue. I don't know what the hardcore solution is, except... Like Adam said, it being like on the parents and them just doing the best that they can, you know. I mean, the platform should be held responsible, but not by like the FTC or the FCC, not like that, like, right? Like what do you say, AC, as far as like a like solution? Because I mean, it's got to be somewhere between the parents and the platforms, right? They both have a little bit of
responsibility. Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a little bit of both, but I mean, if you're not monitoring your kids, they're going to get into whatever. I mean, it's just as simple as that. They're going to look for whatever. But then the other side of that token, if your kids come across stuff that they shouldn't, or that's, you know, either risky or could be violent, then it's your job as a parent to educate them on what that means, why is it there, how to take from it, you know. Yeah. Otherwise, okay, so they're caught up and you're trying to prevent it, but they find it anyway and you don't address it. I kind of think you're going to have another really bad situation on your hand, because that's how you get into situations where kids reenact things that they see because they don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good point. Excellent point, actually. I remember, just to kind of along those lines, when I was a child, I was watching TV with my parents in the den once, and I don't remember what we were watching, but it was a TV show, and it was like the opening credits. They would have the name of the actor and then who they were playing. And I remember asking Mom and Dad, what is that? What does that mean? Why are there two names there? And they explained to me that, hey, these are actors. None of this is real. All of this is fake. These are actors. They're paid to do this. And I don't remember how old I was at the time, but something just clicked in my head and never had a problem with it after that. And I think you're absolutely right. You talk with your kids about these things. And my mom and dad did. They gave me enough credit. They gave me enough for having enough intelligence to comprehend this. And I actually really appreciated that. And and I think part of it is I don't have children, so this may be me speaking out of turn, but it's giving kids credit for being smart, for being sensitive, for knowing things, and having the ability to talk to them about these things as well. I think that's really important. Absolutely.
Yeah, because, you know, especially when it comes to kids, you know, how do you think they're going to learn respect? How do you think they're going to learn, you know, how to grow up? They're always going to learn on how you treat them. So if you treat your kids, you know, well, I think that you'll understand this. I'll explain it to you. They understand it. Then maybe as an adult, they'll do the same thing. I feel like a lot of people now, they look down at their kids, or they look down at kids in general. And so that's why you have this generation of kids that are getting into more trouble, that don't know how the world works, that don't have a good understanding, and then they just don't care because nobody takes the time to nurture that, support that, and then grow that, like what you were saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, you two have been the perfect ones to bring on for this topic. I think, you know, very level-headed but critical look at this, which I don't know how else to be about it. But
yeah.
So, but I think we've said all we can about this, and so folks, spread the word about this crazy legislation, and you know, try to be a part of the solution wherever you can, because the solution I've seen is VPNs. Everyone's like, well, just use a VPN, and as I say to AC a lot of the time, you know, get a new one, you know, get this thing. That's not a solution to me. That's just, but maybe that's the communist in me, but like, to me, that's not a solution.
Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, so hopefully we won't all just have to figure out how to use Tor browser. I've been trying to figure out how to use that for like 10 years. All right. But speaking of the Comics Code, let's move on to the delectable dessert of the evening by none other than Deadpool.
Yes.
So I think we're all on the same page that Deadpool and Wolverine looks like an amazing new installment in the Marvel Universe.
I will say it's the first MCU movie probably since Endgame I'm really looking forward to.
Really?
I'm actually very behind on the MCU also. I'm ashamed to say how far behind I am. But this might be the thing that lights the match under my butt to get me to finish those movies and get caught up.
Right.
I'm a little bit behind on them. I think I've only missed the Marvels and then a couple of the shows.
I think the last MCU movie I watched was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I actually really liked. It was one of those that grew on me. The more I watched it, like, I'm a big Doctor Strange fan, as y'all can see.
Hell yes.
And it was a good movie. I liked it. And it had to grow. It took like kind of 2 or 3 viewings, I think, for me to realize how good it was. But that's the last MCU movie I watched. And I think the last show that I watched was Moon Knight all the way through.
Oh, Moon Knight was great.
I'm really torn on Moon Knight, actually, now, the show. Like, it was good, but it didn't feel like the Moon Knight of the comics necessarily.
Oh, sure.
Like, Stephen Grant is not like a shop owner. Or a shopkeep or whatever he was in the show. He's like a suave, like, millionaire. And that wasn't what we got in here. And then Jake Lockley was saved till the very end. And Mr. Knight really wasn't. It didn't feel like the Mr. Knight of the comics either.
Right.
So I liked it at first, but the more I've thought about it, the more issues I think I've had with it.
Yeah. As Adam knows, I'm pretty easy to satisfy, but I know when something's great if I want to go back and watch it again. And there's been a lot of like MCU stuff I haven't wanted to watch again in a while, but it's been great. Like I've loved all the shows except for Secret Invasion.
I heard that was bad.
Honestly, and it's the stupidest thing, but the how they use the AI art at the beginning. It just sat wrong with me. It just sat. It's like from immediately, I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna like this. Like, I don't know why. It just really. And then I got to watch it a couple episodes, and I was just found myself not really caring about like anything that was happening, and I'm like, this is not great, is it?
Have y'all seen Echo yet?
Yeah.
No.
Have you seen it,
I
Adam?
haven't either. So
No, you guys haven't seen Echo. It was pretty
No,
good.
Not
Both Echo and Miss Marvel, like, they were great up until like the very end, and both of them kind of had that third act syndrome where it's like, what? Like,
I didn't finish Miss Marvel. I only got like a few episodes into it.
yeah, that's how I was with Secret Invasion. Adam, so what was the last show you watched, like, completely?
Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, did you like it to the end?
I watched it all the way up to the end. The problem that I had with it is it didn't really have a whole lot of soul in it. It was lacking a lot of meat, like story to it, but it wasn't very substantial.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, as I was watching, I'm just like, wait, why do I care? Wait, what is happening? Like, it just couldn't hold me. And I think maybe it's one of those situations where I built up in my head what I wanted it to be, and it just didn't really deliver on, like. But I'm going back to it. I'm trying to get everything caught up for Deadpool, because Deadpool has a lot of stuff in it. The trailer, the new trailer, it seems to have a lot of stuff in it that's calling back to even some of these missteps in everything, and like that it's going to be one of those, to get all the jokes, I feel like I need to go back and watch everything just in case they throw in some jokes, making fun of like Moon Knight or She-Hulk or whatever. I feel like they're going to get into it. Have both of you guys watched She-Hulk? Did y'all watch She-Hulk?
Few episodes, just a few.
I've only seen a couple episodes of it. I haven't watched it all the way through.
So its third act goes off the rails, but in a very purposeful way, and reveals something that I think will be integral, because a lot of these things, I think the heart of it, and I'm not the first one to think this, because new rock stars and Screen Crush have said similar things, and Fat Man on Batman. Everyone is kind of touching on this multiverse fatigue, and everything has felt so kind of like they know where they want to go, and they're trying to connect these dots, but then you have artists and authors that kind of want to do their own thing, and they're trying to find this happy medium between the studio and the writers and creators, and that is resulting in just this chopped up storytelling, and it's very formulaic, but also they try to subvert your expectations sometimes, but again, like, sometimes it just falls short, and it's just very messy.
Yeah.
I saw an article today, I think, or it wasn't an article, it was just like a blurb, and it was from Mark Ruffalo, I believe, and he said he felt that the shows are kind of what have watered down the MCU, because the movies, there was like wait for the movies, like not like big waits between them. Like, you would have like one movie come out in like February, another that summer, and another in the fall or around winter, and they felt like events when they happened. But then you have the shows, and you have to watch the shows to understand the movies, and that's really, I think, just asking a lot of people. I mean, for comic book fans, it might work, but I just don't think a mainstream audience is really going to go for this. Not like they did up through Endgame. I think it is fatigue a bit. And Deadpool and Wolverine could, I think, just by virtue that it's knowing what it's doing, that it's very meta, very fourth wall breaking, this could really be a fun movie, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, plus, that's the whole thing for, like, the whole Deadpool character in general. That's what he does.
Oh, yeah. Deadpool would be perfect just for this type of thing. Like, I cannot, like, in the trailer, he goes, "I'm Marvel Jesus," like that. And you're just like, oh, my God, this is so Deadpool. This is so Deadpool.
He's pulling a Lennon, right? Was it Lennon, though? The Beatles are bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. It's the fatigue, And this is what happened with the comic book boom in the 90s, right? There was like
Kind of.
they caught on again mainstream because of the collection factor and the nostalgia of that time, but it got too much and oversaturated, and then there was a bust, and
Yep.
and there are the hardcores that love that postmodern lore, and they love, like, you know, the four colors and shit. And then there are the peripheral fans that, you know, they like some of the media with it, and they have their characters that are their favorites, and they kind of just stick to those. But when you have those, like, that's why I dropped out again, because it got too much of the same thing, where it's like, well, to understand what's going on with this guy, you got to see what's going on with that motherfucker, and to see what's going on with that motherfucker, you got to get in all this stuff, and it gets overwhelming. And so someone like myself, you know, like, I like Batman. I like some of the cosmic Marvel stuff. And that's where I draw the line. I'm not going to go overboard with any of that shit, because it's just, you know, the addict in me can't handle it. but and then that's more of a peripheral fan. You know, that's not like a hardcore. They're not going to buy every ticket and stuff. And then there's the general audience that's like, if something's just good, like that whole first phase of Marvel where it was just so well crafted, and even the missteps were forgivable, because it was just interesting and it was new at the time. But the mainstream audience, the general audience, is exhausted with the superhero stuff. The peripheral fans are exhausted with the multiverse stuff. And then the hardcores are with it, but there's not enough for them to want to stick with it, because they keep trying to appease the general audiences and the mainstream audiences. And it's like, to be cool and unique, you don't got to do that. You just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
And so on that note, as far as the lore is concerned, they're doing a little bit of, what is it? Where in the comic books, he's not so much Marvel Jesus. If anything, he's more the Marvel Antichrist, right? Where he's Deadpool kills the Marvel universe. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a... Mhm. And he does.
I had heard.
And I believe...
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I had just heard rumors that Deadpool 3 was loosely going to... Or Deadpool and Wolverine was loosely based on Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
Cool. I've
heard-
never read that story, though. So.
You didn't read the story?
Nah, I haven't read it yet, no.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. It also leads into him, marrying Death.
Ooh, I bet that pisses Thanos off.
It does. Yeah, I've heard about this. That would be a really cool Easter egg to put in Deadpool and Wolverine, like something like, yeah, I don't know, about Deadpool getting on with Death. I mean, I know in the movies Thanos didn't worship Death, but that still just be kind of a cool thing to slide in there.
In one of the universes, maybe he does, because this is going to be like a good... I don't know if this is going to be the cap of the multiverse saga, but this is in league with the multiverse saga that MCU's got going on. What were you saying, Adam?
I was also going to say, you have to remember that Thanos still comes back. He's just no longer the Mad Titan.
Yeah.
He comes back in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
He's back in the comics right now. There's like a mini series, Thanos. Have you read it?
I haven't read it yet, but I do know of it. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
I watched...
I plan to read it.
I've read Volume 1. That's the only one I've read, is Volume 1. Is this a new volume you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a mini series, actually. The one that's running now. It's like a 4 or 5 issue mini series.
Okay. Do you remember what it's called?
Yeah, that looks like that might be it.
Thanos.
But basically, I don't want to spoil it if y'all are going to read it. But
we're good with
so far.
spoilers here on Snide Studios, just because, like, for me personally, it makes me more interested sometimes.
Right? Yeah.
Occasionally, because even like I still don't know how it's going to happen. Like for instance, Loki, which was my dive back. I noticed in the Deadpool trailer they're doing a little bit of the TVA, which is prominent in Loki, and so I felt like I had to go back and watch season 2. I had already watched season 1, but I went back and watched season 2, and the way that ends was spoiled for me just in a headline and a thumbnail, how it happens, but it was still so cool to see how it came together. Adam, what's your position on spoilers?
It's not going to stop me from going and watching it if you give me a spoiler.
Mm-mm. I had the post-credit scene of the Marvels spoiled for me, and whenever I get to it, I still plan to watch it.
It's great, and how it comes together. I like the Marvels. I just watched it the other night, and it's one of those I don't totally get, the criticism of it. The Miss Marvel, the show that's kind of a prequel to it, but you don't have to watch it to get the movie. The movie really, I think, works on its own, unless you just don't like that character. I liked her. I get the criticisms of Miss Marvel when it comes to how it ended, because it was a lot of build up and just not a great, it was an okay ending. I'm happy everyone was okay at the end, but like there wasn't really, the danger didn't feel big. It didn't feel but anyway, the movie, I thought it was great. I don't totally get the criticisms of it necessarily, even the people that I respect their opinion. But it's subjective, right? It's all subjective.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, how did we get back on the post-credit scene, which, folks, if you haven't seen those thumbnails, I don't know how you could miss them if you're into this shit, but they're bringing more X-Men back.
Speaking of spoilers and how you trying to avoid them, where I work, it's really impossible to avoid spoilers for stuff sometimes. Like articles that'll come out, for Star Trek, for instance. I do a lot of articles about Star Trek comic books. And as such, I have to go to the main Star Trek link page or tag page. Mm-hmm. And during the shows, when they're on the air, there's no shows airing right now. Stuff gets spoiled for me all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes me maybe want to watch it a little bit more now.
Yes, yeah. And that's usually my thing. And that's kind of back in the day, that was more of the thing, right? 90s and shit. That was more, that I think that it was more, that was more the attitude back in the day. You were just going to come across things, if you read the paper, you might see, a movie review, and the movie reviews used to just be full of spoilers. That's basically what they were. And you would get halfway through, and if you liked it, you were like, okay, I'm done reading this now. I'm going to go find I'm going to go get a ticket, and come back to that review when I watch it. And that's the way I'll do the videos sometimes. When I see a good breakdown or something, I'll watch the first kind of minute or so, because that's just my algorithm. It's just I just get fed that shit, and I just came submitted to it a long time ago. So yeah, I read Thanos Volume 1. I think this is kind of a reboot of that, and that's really interesting. There was it? And it crossed over with Cosmic Ghost Rider, and that's what got me onto it. Thanos and Baby Thanos are quite prominent in that series, and that's just really interesting. And that gets into the multiverse stuff very interestingly as well. you can kind of see some of where that, and I think it actually might have crossed over with Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. Or at least like there were some aspects of it that were called back to. Let me see when that came out. So that was like 2011. So they were probably like calling back to it, but they called back to some of that the stuff that happens in this. And it's very similar in how it's just this very absurd, again, Cosmic Ghost Rider, like is very like, it's very like you're going everywhere in the Marvel universe. You're getting a taste of, there's a whole sequence in that where you just have like people like, hero after hero after hero just coming through a portal trying to stop what's going on, and they're just getting killed and just like it's like a just carnage and stuff. And this is like very similar where it's just like, but getting into theories because the TVA snatches up Deadpool, and this is in the trailer, right? You know, this is just in the trailer. He's snatched up by the TVA, and it seems like he's going to be like a mercenary for them to go through alternate timelines, aka old movies, and just start icing people to correct things, I guess, back to the sacred timeline or a version of that. Which, if you watch Loki season 2, I think this has to be somewhere like in the TVA timeline, like after season 1, but before season 2 somehow, or just an alternate TVA, because it doesn't have to be to canon, right? You know, necessarily.
When you all were looking for the Deadpool trailer, did you find like these kind of fake trailers for it that fans had made?
Every movie.
I saw one and they actually fooled me. I thought it was the real trailer. I was like, some of this feels a little off, like because there was a lot of imagery from previous X-Men movies, and particularly with Wolverine in them. And I was like, wait, are they bouncing around through time movies and stuff here? And then I realized, no, this is just a fan trailer. This is the stuff spliced in. And then I found the real trailer.
That's hilarious.
No, they're getting. I mean, AI helps with that a little bit, but
yeah, it was some serious AI used in these trailers.
Yeah, in the trailer, I don't think they specifically say they're the TVA, but it's the same, like, riot gear. There's this guy who I don't know if he's going to be, I think I saw somewhere he's going to be Paradox, which is an alternate form of Mobius, which is the Owen Wilson character in Loki. And they're basically going to just, like, you know, and again, this is a theory. I don't know how much of this has been confirmed, but just from what I picked up, and then the Fox logo. So that's Paradox, apparently.
Okay.
The guy to the left of Deadpool, and he's an alternate version of the Owen Wilson character. And then look at this fan-made poster. Where they just took Loki out. That's pretty cool. And they put Deadpool in there. And this collar that he's wearing, you know, I guess they got that from the other Deadpool movie, the one that, like, you know, the collar that, like, stops your healing and or your powers or whatever. But there's something going on where he, like, and I don't, you know, I'm not going to turn this into like a frame by frame breakdown or anything like that. I don't know if you guys saw this in the trailer in the background.
Oh yeah, saw that.
One of the shots, so cool. But these are just leaked set. This isn't actually from the trailer. This is like a leaked set thing. You can't even see the X. Man, are they like getting rid of screen grabs? Here we go. This is the one I'm talking about. Where they got the X prominently. Like back in the day, the X-Men movies, the 20th Century Fox, the X would be lit up for just a second more than the rest of the logo. You know, the X and Fox. And so 20th Century Fox, or especially the Fox part of it, has been pruned from the Disney sacred timeline because they fucking gobbled up 20th Century Fox and they got rid of the Fox part and they got rid of the old logo. And, and so this place is the place beyond time in Loki. The place where, you're when you're pruned, you're transported to this place beyond time, this planet, and it's based on the Kang microverse or whatever, not microverse, whatever it was called. Can't remember.
Right.
The Kang world.
The Kang world.
That's going to bug me now. What's it called?
The quantum realm?
It's the domed. It's in the quantum realm somewhere. Chronopolis.
Yeah, that's it.
Chronopolis.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so in the comics it's like that, and basically Kang is like time traveled all over different points in time to take important shit to create his own version of the world, and he lords over it. And in the MCU there's like a similar thing, but it's in the same place beyond time. You remember when we thought it was going to be in Quantumania, and they didn't do it? There's a version of it in the MCU though, like it's but they don't call it that. They call it something else. So there's where the TVA chills, and there's where Kang chills at the end of time. But he's got some other. It's like a sandbox, big sandbox, and he's taking. But so we're going to see Deadpool there, and then at one point he's like in a locker room, and he's like working for them and shit. So again, the theory is that he's going to be going all over the multiverse, and at some point he's going to be like, "Hey, I actually like some of these people I'm supposed to prune, like Wolverine." And the fucking blue and yellow, dude. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
I know. Yeah. Happy. Isn't Jennifer Garner as Elektra supposed to be in this movie too?
They're doing it all, man. The old fucking Sue Storm. What's her name? Jessica Alba.
Really?
Like everyone's coming back, bro.
Oh wow, I didn't know Jessica Alba was coming back.
According to my intel, everyone. I don't know how much has been confirmed. But, like, it's my understanding.
Sure.
Cool.
For sure on Elektra. I don't know about Jessica Alba for sure. Wouldn't put it past him, but I know Jessica Alba for sure. Or Elektra's for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, they're
maybe I never saw Elektra, but
it was sexy. It was all right. You know, for a 12-year-old Cory, it was a cool movie. But looking back, like it was, you know, I don't know. Like it's not great storytelling, and it's not really what you wanted it to be.
Oh,
yeah, it's more of a cash grab. So, the coattails of whatever.
Let's put as little budget into this as possible because it's a chick, and not Ben Affleck. It's just a lot of her cutting up sandbags and reaction shots, and you know, not a whole lot of Marvel, but
no,
the costume was cool.
Back to play Daredevil in it for not even a cameo.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I didn't hate the Daredevil movie. I thought the little
I didn't either.
Cute, you know, meet cute fight scene with them was cool. I loved their version of Kingpin. Didn't hate
Yeah.
Didn't hate their version of Bullseye either. It was a great, I don't know, like it was a great try. It was a great try, you know, and you know, but you remember at the time I said, you know, he seems a little more like Batman than he does Deadpool or Daredevil, and that was, you know.
Didn't he take the role of Daredevil because he thought he'd never get to play Batman?
Yeah. And so I always thought that was interesting. I kind of picked up on like some of those vibes because, and not that Daredevil doesn't get gothic sometimes. It gets a little gothic sometimes, but the movie felt more gothic than Daredevil felt.
Well, that is until Kevin Smith got a hold of it.
Right. Yeah. He made it real gothic.
Mid 2000s, those are a lot more gothic, a lot more dark.
And they started to get into that storyline on Netflix. They didn't really wrap it up. They wrapped up some of it, and now they're going to bring it all back. They're going to bring it all.
Right.
Speaking of bringing some stuff back, they're bringing all of because for a minute they have, of course, Charlie Cox was confirmed, but for a minute they're like, we're not going to have Karen and Foggy back. We're going to try to find new stuff to do with them, and it's like, what? They were so much fun, and now they're
they bringing them back now?
Now they're bringing them back. Now they're bringing everyone back.
Awesome.
They're bringing back even Iron Fist, man. You know, hopefully he's going to pass the mantle on or something. I didn't hate that show. I didn't
watch it.
It was all right. I mean, and again, that goes back to me being easy to. I'm kind of easy to, with a lot of this stuff, easy to not impress, but easy to entertain. You know, it's not always what you think it's going to be. I loved Luke Cage. Luke Cage was cool as fuck. That was a cool as fuck show.
What I watched of it, I liked.
Yeah, I definitely recommend going back because they're going to somehow bring him back and make people happy, hopefully. But it's they've got an uphill battle ahead of them because a lot of it. And I think it was that third act syndrome where there was all this build up and there wasn't necessarily the payoff. Like, sure, you might have got a cool fight scene, you might have got an interesting twist, but so much of it felt contrived, and they kept building up. There's going to be this dragon. They're going to fight a dragon, motherfuckers. And then they got to it, and they're like, "Look at those dragon fossils. That's sick, isn't it?" And then, like, nothing else happened, and you're like, well, like, you can't set up a dragon battle and then say, oops, we ran out of budget for a dragon battle.
He could fight an invisible dragon.
Yeah, do something with it, man. Yeah, he's, like, fighting, and it looks like just little bits of force field. Danny Rand was just weird. The casting was weird. Not that the guy didn't do a good job with what he was given, but it was just weird casting. It was weird casting. Shit, man, it's crazy to think that was like almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Daredevil was about 9 years ago, I think. It was
Goodness.
Wild.
Yeah. And then now hopefully they're bringing it back and they're giving it another shot. So,
yeah, they're doing Born Again.
Yeah. And is that the Kevin Smith one?
No, that was a Frank Miller story, Born Again.
Frank Miller, that's right. What am I saying?
How much they'll actually stick to it, I don't know. Maybe Born Again in name only. I don't know.
That's right. Kevin Smith was The Man Without Fear, and I think that's the one they kind of wrapped up with on Netflix. They kind of wrapped up with that, and now they're going to do the Born Again storyline, which is fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a great story.
So I can't wait, man. And again, great to have you two on to talk about it. Any last words on Deadpool or KOSA?
see. July 26th is going to be a good day. I know that much.
Hell yeah, I agree. We got to do like come back to do a post-mortem on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe we should come back in a few months after Deadpool and Wolverine comes out and have a roundtable on it.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Cool.
So yeah, guys. Thanks for coming on. This was great.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, anytime. We got an open door policy here on the Snide Show. If you're interested in coming on as well, folks, just hit me up, Cory the Curator or Snide Studios, anywhere, and we'll fucking chill and we'll hash some things out, man. Let everyone know where to find more of you, Shaun.
I am on Instagram at Corley on the Shore. Let's see, I'm on Blue Sky now also, which I believe is Shaunathan it's Shaunathan is my username on Blue Sky. I don't use Twitter anymore, X or whatever it's called. Ever since Elon took it over, I've completely disengaged from it.
It's garbage.
Garbage is the word. But I would say Blue Sky and Instagram are the best places to find me.
Is Blue Sky is that cool? Is that a cool platform?
I've liked it so far. I got a code back when they were doing invites, and I got my account set up, and I used it for a while. Then I fell off of it, and I'm trying to get back into it and do more with it now, especially now that I don't want to do anything on Twitter.
Yeah, and I feel the same.
It's a very similar interface.
Cool. That's what I kind of gathered from it, was that it was like a resurrection of sorts of the true Twitter, which I wouldn't mind, if that was legit. Because I feel the same way about Meta, but Meta just feels at this point like mandatory. But I hate that. I hate that there's like a thing that, you gotta, and then like, I don't know, man. Like I'm over here trying to do comedy and stuff, and people try to take shit too seriously. And Twitter is just like shouting into a void now, because you either have the people who are super serious Twitter people, and a lot of those people are unpleasant, no matter where you stand, and then trolls, just straight trolls.
Yeah.
And now bots. You go under a comment on something, and it's like a bunch of bots posting barely relevant things, and you just know that they saw like, chair breaking in the original thing, so putting bunch of chair breaking videos underneath the comments before you even get to like a comment. Ugh.
Oh my God.
It's
dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm trying to find a new home. Trying to find a cool place. A cool social
Check out
media.
Blue Sky.
I'll check out Blue Sky. We'll get a Snide Studios Blue Sky going on. Turn it into a green sky, a lime green sky.
Here we go.
Lime sky. All right, and AC, let the folks at home know where to find you and shit if you want people to find you.
Well, the only place they're going to find me is wherever they find Snide Studios.
Ooh, I like that line. All right, folks. Well, we're going to call it here, and have a great night, everyone, and stay snide.